Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today, we're going to take a look at Chapter 60 of Kaiju number 8. Oh my goodness, this is going to be the spoiler-free review, and there's plenty to talk about in this spoiler-free review, but this was just a glorious chapter. We get full confirmation of theories, we get introductions to even more material for future theories, there's character development, there's plot development. This was just a really solid all-around chapter. But the first thing that jumps out at you from the first page is the quality of the art. On one hand, Matsumoto is just really, really skilled, and the background artist is really, really skilled. This is just technically good art, but there is something about Matsumoto's style that makes me feel happy. This is a very simple opening chapter. The characters, the things they're doing, the positions they're in, this could be any manga, any Shonen Jump battle manga, or even a sports manga or whatever. There's nothing really distinctive about it, but Matsumoto has so entrenched his art style in our brains that this couldn't be anything other than Kaiju number 8. And Matsumoto's art style makes me happy. I don't really know what other way to say this. This is, I think, one of the main selling points of just an all-around great manga. I want to look at more of this art. When I see what Matsumoto has drawn, I want to see more. There's a wholesomeness, a beauty. There's something that just ties Matsumoto's art together. It's partially skill, partially inspiration. I don't know. I honestly have just been here sitting looking at the cover page of the chapter. And again, nothing plot-wise is happening in this cover page. It's just good art. This is the kind of art that you'd want to hang on your wall just because of completely out of context. Then we get into the story, and the story is great. We get nothing truly shocking, nothing surprising. We get to see the two characters that the story is focusing on, gearing up for what they're going to address in the chapter. And this chapter is partially a reminder of where their relationship was when we last saw them, partially an expansion on that relationship, and where we see how these two characters are interacting with each other. And because it is a shonen battle manga, there's a huge focus on their comparative power levels. We get to see in very clear detail where they're standing to each other in their relationship, and that relationship building, it plays into something else later in the chapter. You get to see one of these characters gearing up for battle, and there's something about the way the gear is presented, the way this character is standing there in their uniform, that makes this character look very young, innocent, and childish. This character looks like a boy who's wearing one of his father's suits for the first time. It's clearly 2 or 3 sizes too big. The boy just looks awkward in the suit that's too big for them, and it really impresses on you that this person is, for all of the responsibility that's been placed on him, is still very much a young person, still a child. And the gear is sort of representing the duty, the burden that's been put on this person. And then we get a gradual shift of focus as the chapter goes on, and we see how the other characters in the Defense Force interact with this person, how they look up to this person. And the total effect is, by the end of the chapter, to just drive home really, really hard in a really kind of bittersweet awareness of how young all of these characters are. And this isn't something that just exists within the story. This is, it plays into the fact, the main thing that we liked about this story from chapter 1, that it's not just that the main character is in his 30s. It's not just that the main character is older than the typical shonen battle manga. This is that all of these characters are very young, except for our main character. We're looking at essentially children here in his friend group. And this chapter, it really focuses the lens of the story in on that, on how young and innocent in many ways many of these characters are, despite the power that they wield and the responsibility that they've been given. They're very, very young. And this is probably so powerful because it is a reflection of real life. No matter where you live, the soldiers who are guarding you, the soldiers who guard your borders, who keep pirates at bay, who are in your military, in the fire department, in the police force, many of them are very, very young, but especially in the military, you get people who, if you met them in everyday life, you'd still consider them children in many ways, but they've been forced into these positions of responsibility. And in our modern world, it's not as pronounced as it used to be, but 50, 60 years ago, it was common, not just in terrible occurrences in places that happened in small parts of the world, but common for people as young, for boys as young as 12 and 13 to be sent into the military. The British Navy was something famous for this, with these cabin boys who'd be apprenticed out at 12 or 13, which was the average age of apprenticeship back then for any task. And they'd be on these ships in pitched battles, taking the danger along with the grown men. And I think this really illustrates one of Matsumoto's strengths. As fantastic as the concept of kaiju is in this world is in all other ways extremely grounded, extremely real. These are situations that you feel that you could encounter in everyday life. And that is what makes a good story. A good story should be a reflection of reality with just basically one fantastic element. In this case, that fantastic element is the kaiju. And we're still learning more and more about that. And this chapter does expand on the kaiju and how some of the patterns work and the kaiju behavior. But when it comes right down to it, this story is just a really clear reflection of our own world, the disappointment of reaching your 30s and realizing that you haven't fulfilled your dreams, the stress of trying to do a job that you fear that you're underqualified for, and the reality that many of the people in uniforms that go out to fight our battles for us are children. And they need to be supported with that in mind. On a more specific and less esoteric note, the casual way which Matsumoto makes reveals of the conclusions to various fan theories is just, I think, really, really interesting. We get 100% confirmed a theory that we've been toying with since back in chapter 19. So 40 chapters ago, we had our first hint that when Reno revealed that he'd been using ice freeze rounds. Then we have that casual comment about Kaiju number 6 being on ice in the mid-30s chapter, in the early 30s chapters, where the heads of the defense force were discussing what to do with Kafka. And someone put 2 and 2 together, and then we got the flashback to the battle with Kaiju number 6, where we see that Kaiju number 6 attacked at the same time as there was a massive snowstorm. And these were all hints, and we were all excited to find out if the Kaiju number 6 suit did have freeze powers or not. And then that question gets answered for us in this chapter, but the focus of the camera focus, the focus of the story is not on that. It just breezes right past that and takes the story on to something else. It's like, yeah, okay, this theory is correct. This is a part of this world, but who cares? I don't know if it shows a lack of self-awareness or a complete and true mature self-awareness of the author. Like, here's the answer to your theory. Yes or no, this is what it is. But Who cares? This is what the point of the main story is about, these relationships between these people that we care about. So let's get on and talk about the important stuff. So what do you think? What was your favorite part of this chapter? Was it the reveal about the Kaiju number 6 numbered weapons actual power? Or was it rewatching the relationship that's developed between Aiharu and Reno? So hit that like and subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, check to make sure you're still subscribed. And peace out, my wonderful viewers. Humans are weird. We took a vote, and humans are weird. I have the data. 2 books in a series of human absurdity. Go check out these short story collections. What will our little green friends think of us when we finally do make it to space? Find out the answer in 2 books of human absurdity. Humans Are Weird, We Took a Vote, and Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Google Play.